Deborah Prinzing. This is episode 618. Last week you met Ann Sumner of Walla Walla Flower Farm. What a fun episode. I especially loved the bonus musical performance recorded in her flower field. Well, just down the road from Walla Walla Flower Farm on Stateline Road, in fact, but on the Washington side, is a historic farm called Old Homestead. This is where Elaine and Mike Vandiver operate two complementary businesses, Old Homestead Alpacas and Gholson Gardens. Elaine is a past guest of the Slow Flowers podcast. She appeared on episode 395 in 2019, which we also aired as an Encore episode last summer. What's new now is the gift of video. I'm so happy I was able to return to this beautiful farm for a visit a few weeks ago. I filmed the entire tour, narrated by Elaine, as we visited her alpacas, the fiber house, the dye house, and the cutting garden. I know you'll learn lots about how to balance dual farm operations, and you'll also be swept up in the story, thanks to Elaine's bubbly personality and the spirit of generosity as she shares with the Slow Flowers community. You'll also meet her intern, Elena Schenkenberg, and hear how she was drawn to this place to learn more about slow flowers, slow fiber, and slow fashion. Here's a bit more by way of introduction. Elaine grows specialty cut flowers on her historic homestead in Walla Walla, Washington. As a seasonal grower, she cultivates rare, unique, and heirloom varieties that are picked at their peak for customers who wish to snag a deluxe mixed bouquet from her stylishly functional flower cart at the downtown Walla Walla Farmers Market. That's May through October. Elaine also offers weekly flower subscriptions and assembles floral creations for local restaurants and wineries. Old Homestead Alpacas is known for its 100% farm-grown knitwear with alpaca fiber that is hand-dyed using farm-grown heirloom dye plants. Elaine recently worked with local filmmaker CM Bell Company to capture short video narratives of all four seasons at Homestead Alpacas and Gholson Gardens. The films are beautiful storytelling moments, and I've been given permission to share them. I'm going to share winter and spring at the beginning of this episode, and we'll wrap up at the end with summer and fall. So let's jump right in and meet or re-meet Elaine Vandiver, and I'll share our sponsor thank yous at the end.
We bought this old homestead during a dark season in our life after a long and unsuccessful journey to start a family. There were no plans to start a farm. It was really just a hideaway to immerse ourselves in new surroundings and regroup. We were exhausted after trying to push our life in a very specific direction. Infertility treatments will kind of do that. The farm offered space to see what would come on its own, and what came were alpacas. We didn't question it, we just went with it. Being receptive to how things unfolded, all on their own, that was an incredibly freeing notion. What has emerged is a life that's more beautiful and fulfilling than I ever dreamed. Winter will always be a season of reflection, rest, and planning for the upcoming year. A time to be present with each other, our thoughts, and the herd. Standing with them in winter is evidence that the seasons come together just as they should. Their fiber is long and ready for harvest, a product of sunshine, grass, and winter hay, and so many beautiful things to come. Spring is a season of renewal and transformation. Our annual fiber harvest is at the heart. After an entire year growing the fleece, it's gone in a flash. It's a swift conclusion and a simultaneous restart, and makes for some of the best haircuts ever. With the fiber at the mill, we turn our focus to the land. The greening up of the pastures is a welcome sign because it'll feed the herd all season. And thanks to the alpaca's poo, flower seedlings are sprouting up everywhere. The first of the bouquets begin to bloom, providing joy to the community and a sustaining revenue for the farm. We found a real synergy between the flowers and the fibers. It's hard to describe, but when you come out, you'll see what I mean. Spring will always be a favorite because it celebrates the interconnectedness of it all, the land, the animals, and our community.
Okay, that is a great introduction to get us started for our great tour with Elaine. So let me add that right now and introduce you to our wonderful guests today.
Hi, I'm Elaine Vandiver. Welcome to Old Homestead, Alpacas, and Gholson Gardens.
And we're going to go on a little tour.
Little walking tour. Beautiful spring day. You picked a perfect time to come to Walla Walla because everything is still green.
And who are all these creatures behind you?
My fiber boys.
Oh my gosh, Elaine, when I came to visit you, it was in the fall of 2018, I think.
It was, yeah.
You didn't have this many alpaca, did you?
I probably had close to it.
Okay, so how many do you have now?
I have 24, 25.
Are they just kind of having their, like, they're waiting for lunch or something?
No, well, lunch is all around them. That green, beautiful stuff. We are grass farmers this time of year.
They're just so cute.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's Rainier.
But they're just personality-wise.
Yeah,
kind of...
and they all have a unique personality. Earl is the one that's sacked out over there.
Oh, laying on his side?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see, this gentleman right here is Legend, and he is the baby daddy this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got one on the ground, and goodness, we are like
legend.
way overdue. Yeah,
he's a legend in his own mind. Oh.
This is the first time I've used my own stock for breeding.
Okay.
Yeah, so
and
very
why?
excited.
Well, you're just learning. I mean, you came here with no skill set in breeding, and now you're
very true.
A pro.
Yes. Well, I would not say that. This is my 9th year, but I had basically breeding up my own stock by using other studs.
Okay.
So this is the first time I've got one of sufficient quality.
In-house.
Yes.
And what does that mean? That you just kind of own, you own the offspring and you can either sell them or
Yep.
Okay.
You could sell, I use them primarily for, my own uses for fiber. But the difference in using your own stock is I didn't pay a breeding fee.
Right.
Yes.
Right, and also quality control, like how they've been,
exactly.
The parents have what they've eaten and how they've been cared for.
And personality is a big thing. Because these animals can live up
just
to
like
20 years, and I've got some that I'm not breeding because of their personality.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
A little bit like humans, huh?
Yeah.
Like you want
good
people
fiber
with
and good company.
Good character. Yeah. And
Speaking of good company, Elena, this is Deborah Prinzing.
Hi, Elena. I'm filming. I hope that's okay. Why don't you guys stand together a second?
She is my new intern.
Yes.
It's the power of the E's this year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
She's
great,
a
Elena.
senior at Whitman College.
Yes, yeah.
What possessed you to want to pursue farming?
Well, I came here for an open barn in the fall with my parents when they were visiting, and I fell in love with it. I have an interest in slow fashion. I think I might do my thesis on it, and I just thought it was a great place. And then I asked if she would take on any help, and I got a grant from the school
to intern here.
Yes,
for the
to
summer.
Intern here for the summer. Yeah.
What is your actual major?
It's combined environmental studies and sociology.
Well, I'm slow flowers, so I get slow fashion, and
Yeah.
Elaine is all about it with the fiber and and the natural plant dye.
Yeah.
What a great fit.
Yeah, this has been so awesome.
Yeah, it's just a blast. I come home and my housemates are like, how was work? And I'm like, I love it. It's awesome. I love it.
What do you actually, like, Elaine, what are you having Elena do, and how is that helping you? Because you've generally been a one-woman show, right?
I don't know how you're doing it.
Sometimes I don't either. She's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
It's true.
When you came in, you saw those sprinklers going. She's been moving irrigation pipe, those 40-foot aluminum pipes.
Good upper body
through
strength.
The pastures.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She did a fantastic flower harvest for me yesterday that I used for bouquets today. And later we can go through the dye garden. She's been getting that up and going.
Love to see
been
that.
Been doing dye harvests as well. I have her out here right now on baby watch.
Oh, okay.
And doing, yes, because that's
wow.
essential. Like when when they're going to be born, it's always in the morning, so between 8 and noon. And so I kind of need to be there.
So literally, you're waiting for a baby to be born right now?
Yeah, we've been waiting. They're all at 12 months now.
Okay.
And it's an 11-month gestation.
Oh,
So
okay.
they always go a little longer in spring, and my notes could be a little off too, but we are definitely in overtime.
So if we miss it today on my visit, you'll be posting about this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Elena, you didn't know this was part of the job, did you?
I think I got, you were like, well, we're expecting some babies kind of right when I started, but I didn't think I'd be on baby watch like this, and I really thought Sugar was going to do it earlier, but I thought she was pushing, but
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you're on
it's not.
a wow.
I don't really, I got up because I was like, oh my God.
You've completely like gotten your roots in on this farm. Like, and
Oh,
how
yeah,
long have you been
absolutely.
interning?
This is my 3rd week.
She's sold.
Yeah.
It's cool today, Elaine.
It's perfect
it's
today.
beautiful.
If you want to come in when you're ready, we can feed them.
Oh, hello. So are the females all here and the males on the other side? Or?
Yes. Because unlike most ruminants, they're not daylight sensitive. They can be bred at any time of the year.
Okay.
So we don't even let them share a fence line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on in. Would you like one of these?
One big happy family with a
Yes.
big space between between the parties. You go ahead, I'll follow you. You don't let the dog in, do you?
No.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
And if you want, I mean, I don't know.
I'll
if
let you
want,
do it.
Okay.
I'll let you do it. Okay, just because I like to get a little distance so I can see how cute they are. Is this their normal lunchtime?
No, not really. So
These are just
this
snacks.
this is actually just a pelletized mineral and vitamin supplement.
Okay,
And so it's not really food. It's just a little supplement,
but,
but
they
it's
like
tasty.
they like the taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could get a little pushy.
Oh, I want to go see your baby too. And what did you say her name was?
Dixie.
Oh, she's so sweet.
She's still a little easily frightened.
I won't get close to her, but
She's this is her mama right next to me. So
oh, okay. Maybe she'll come around. Oh, what a life.
Yes, I know, right?
I feel like there's times in your life where it's more about raising fiber animals and then the flowers get neglected and then the season changes and you...
Yep.
Is that true or is it all on all the time?
Well, I mean, so we had shearing in April, into April. So all of that's at the mill. So they're working on next year's fiber and collection. So the care they require is pretty basic. You know, just making sure they have water and forage. And so that becomes the biggest focus, is keeping the grass alive.
And that's why you talked about having the irrigation out front?
Yep.
Okay.
And we have it in all of the pastures. So I want to say this time of year, and it's been a little drier, but not as warm, that I'm irrigating at least half of the month.
Wow. Wow.
Sometimes more. It just kind of depends. I'm working on a little project to rehab some areas of the pasture down front as you came in. We've reseeded some areas, so that's taking a little extra water to keep that, establish that grass.
So Elaine, the alpacas will just eat grass, and
Yeah,
that's their food of choice?
Yeah, the goal is to graze them as long as possible. That's the best forage for them. And then typically early fall, we pull everybody off pasture and start feeding hay. And that's when they get this supplement more frequently, because the forage gives them everything they need.
Okay.
They get a little fighty over the food with each other.
Anna, they're attached to you, I can tell.
They know how it works. When people show up, that usually means extra food.
And Elena's like 3 weeks in, and they're like, yeah, she's got food too. There's the sweetest little baby there. Hi, Dixie. You are a precious little baby. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Elaine. This is really fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. This is great. Like I said, you came at a great time. Normally, earlier this week, Monday and Tuesday was like in the 90s and kind of muggy.
Yeah.
And then we had wind yesterday.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Do they go indoors at night? Do they go into the barn?
They occasionally, but this time of year, they're out.
They like
prefer
this.
to be outside.
Hello.
That's my super friendly one. That's Scout. She's my PR.
Scott is
alpaca.
giving me a little
She won't,
rub.
try to crawl on your lap, so don't
Hi,
be shy.
Scout.
Push her away. She gets a little
She's
pushy.
got a beautiful coat though. How do you dye the darker colors?
So I have an example of something Elena and I dyed.
Yeah.
And we'll do a side by side. I use coreopsis for the darker stuff, but oftentimes I leave the blacks and browns just as blacks and browns.
Natural.
Because they're pretty.
Yeah.
And
And it gives you a contrast then with the other colors.
yeah, it does.
But it's so nice to have this outbuildings that you can dedicate.
Yes.
Like, it's called the dye house.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go on in.
All
This
right,
is some
great.
fresh yarn, actually hand spun yarn, that I dyed with weld. This guy right here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What part of the weld becomes the dye?
It's this stuff right here. It's almost like the pollen.
Interesting. And
yeah.
it creates this beautiful color.
Yellow. Uh-huh.
You think I like it?
Yeah. Oh.
So what will you do with this? Will you knit this yourself?
Yeah, so I hand process a couple fleeces a year for myself. And it's usually the baby fleeces, the Krias, because their fiber by the time they're shorn is like 9 inches long, which is too long for the mill to do.
That is incredible.
So I will do my own processing of it.
I love the texture on it, Elaine. Is that
Yeah,
just
so this
how
is-
it comes off the
No, so this is
animal?
like, I can show you. I've got the. So
yeah,
it
we'll go on
comes-
in. I'll follow you.
It comes off like raw. Let me make sure I've got.
Oh, look at this. This is what I mean. It's
And
like
I
she's
did
like
have
Julia
time to
Child
really-
with her own cooking show here.
In a perfect world, I would have cleaned a bit more.
Don't say that because in every
But I'm
farmer.
going to give you the full farm experience.
Yeah.
So what I did was I washed all the fiber, and then it kind of looks like this after it's washed.
Wow.
Still have debris in there
silky, though.
because it's just. It's
Off
a
their-
natural product.
it's off their coat, right?
pasture raised for sure. So there's definitely some hay bits in there, and then I have been slowly carding it on my carder into.
Then you're getting the longer than like the 9-inch.
It's
fiber.
aligning the fibers.
Yeah.
So this is what I would call a bat,
Oh right.
and so I'll just peel a little hunk off here.
So that has not been carded yet.
This has been carded
Oh, it has.
several times.
Oh, okay.
The more I card it, the smoother it get, the easier it will be for me to spin it. But because it's hand spun, completely processed from raw, I don't mind having the texture.
I think it
I don't
adds
want to
more.
because it could take me years to get it the way a mill would get it.
So roughly you'll go through the hand carding process a couple different passes?
Oh, for sure, at least 4.
Okay.
This is something I'll do at the end of the day and kind of zone out. Because it's very, for me, meditative. And you'll actually get a better view from this side.
Okay. I'll come around behind you. Have you done this yet, Elena?
I have little chunks I put through the carder, but I would love to learn how to spin.
Yes, I have my wheel on the porch. We will for sure do that.
Oh my gosh.
So I feed it, it comes in through this one and then it comes up through here, and as it grabs it, it pulls those fibers, and the idea is to help align them. See right in
Yeah,
here?
and then the first wheel is wider spaced and the second gets a little bit more narrowly. So does that kind of, again, stretch out the fibers?
Yeah, you can kind of see each.
Yeah.
There's still some little neps in there, but it pulls it out. So every pass, in theory, you'll pull more and more out, and you
Wow.
could do this.
It's such an intentional meditative process.
It
I can
is.
see why you zone out when you're working out all your worries.
Yes,
while
and
you're physically
I do a lot
carding.
of listening to podcasts while I'm in here.
Yeah, because your brain can do one thing while your hands do something else.
Yes. And this is just for me, and it gives me an opportunity to put my hands on what I'm producing, because 98% of my fiber that gets made into something gets processed by a commercial mill.
You send it off.
Yeah. And so this allows me, and what's really nice about having it from the babies is, You know, when they're first born, that is the finest, the softest the fiber will ever be. Because as they age, you know, gradually that fiber gets coarser. And when I say coarser, you know, we're talking at the micron level. So
yeah, because it's still pretty really soft.
But then it gets me to see, like, so this particular animal that I'm carding is Hammy. And Hammy was born in 2021 when we were in the middle of redoing our entire house. All of the boards, you know, we had no siding, no windows. It was 105 degrees out. He was born. His mom rejected him. I had to bottle feed him for 31 days.
Wow.
Shout out to you, moms.
Wow.
That was some hard work.
Especially at the time of year, like,
Middle of the
hot,
night feedings.
hot and sticky holding a baby animal.
And then he latched on to the Dixie's mom.
Oh.
And she fed both of them, which is very rare. So Hammy, and I named him Hammy, his real name, because his mother is Hoosier.
Okay.
His real name is Hammond, Indiana.
Which you're from, right?
Yes.
And my mother's from.
Yes.
I forgot all about that. You have a good memory. I so love that.
So he's Hammy. He's my special boy, and he's a classic bottle baby in that he's even more friendly than Scout.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for showing me that.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
for sure.
Oh wow. I think the dye garden was over on the other side of your house before.
I did. Yes, I had some over there, and I moved it all over here because now when we harvest, it goes right into here. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And this space wasn't really being used, so.
So what do you have? What are your most? You had the weld. You showed us the weld.
Yep, and I'm letting it grow wild. It's kind of like a weed, so all that
little goes a long way, huh?
Yep. And all of that's weld, so I'm just embracing the weeds.
And the color is so beautiful.
Very bright yellow.
Yeah.
In here, these are actually volunteer Hopi sunflowers from last year.
Okay.
So the seeds from that are supposed to give purple.
So you're going to give it a try.
I'm going to hope. Yeah. I'm gonna
so
try.
you basically have to harvest the seeds from the flowers at the end.
Yeah, the heads get really big on these, and then you dry them out, and you hope to get to them before the birds do.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So this is a little mishmash of things. This actually has...
You've got marigold in here, right?
Yep, a marigold. Coreopsis right here.
That's a real popular
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Dyer's chamomile.
Oh, yes. I've heard about that, but I've never seen it. Is it a relative of a marigold? Or is it just...
You know, I'm not sure.
It's got such a sweet little...
yeah, but it's like chamomile tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And then this was actually also planted with madder root in the fall. So madder root takes about 3 years to get sufficient pigment. So the 2020 planting is going to get harvested this fall. So this will be my next...
Your next rotation.
Yeah.
What is the color that comes from madder root?
Red.
Oh,
Indiana
so
red.
Valuable.
And pink. I can get pink from it. Here's
Sure.
a runner. So it is the root that we use.
The color in it already.
And this is obviously a younger root, so it's orange. I planted from the back and it's growing underneath. I've already whacked the top of it.
Because you don't need the top.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to put all the energy into the root for the pigment. Like this is trying to go to seed. So this will get another whacking back.
Yeah.
And we'll dig this out in the fall when the knit wears here.
Yeah.
And use it fresh.
Wow. You are mulching with...
Yes,
with
I am.
fur. Is that what you call it? Is it called... Is it called...
this is scrap fiber. And
fiber, yeah.
I use it as mulch for weeds because we have tons of weeds here.
And will it eventually decompose?
It will.
So
it'll take a while, but it just becomes,
organic.
It takes up space in the soil, so it'll help with airflow.
Sure.
And it's just, I'd rather use it out here than keep it in a bag.
Wow.
And not get any use out of it.
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's
this
amazing.
is a little bit of coreopsis, and as you'll see in the garden, some of my, just because I can, this is marshmallow.
Really?
Yeah.
I know mallow, right?
It's in the same family,
Yeah.
but this is marshmallow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have no idea what it's going to do. I have that still in there, and I'm thinking maybe I'll distill it. I don't know. I just grew it because in January it looked really cool in the seed catalog, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. So I have 4 plants of it.
It almost looks like a hollyhock flower or leaf, doesn't it?
Yeah. It has yet to bloom. It's just doing all of the...
But it's actual cultivar or...
Yeah. I
variety
got it from Baker Creek.
Oh, yeah.
Their catalog.
So there's some Somebody did make marshmallow out of that back in the day.
Yeah, that's where they got
Wow.
the actual flavoring. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from the root or from the bloom, but I'm gonna find out.
I love it. That's so great. Thank you so much for showing this off.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
doesn't look like you have a lot, but I feel like you get what you need.
Yes,
A little-
and that's been a little bit of a trial and error. So I've actually got quite a bit from last year. These little guys, she's been picking these.
Yeah, they grow like crazy. I mean, I harvested maybe 2 dozen this morning, and there are some that are opening up
Yeah.
right now that I didn't
Yep.
get because they weren't quite all the way open.
And you want to harvest them when they're open?
Yeah, but I've been harvesting these every day since I've been here, and there was a gallon bag that was maybe like a quarter full, and now it's almost full. And I've picked
So I
a
freeze
lot.
them. Yeah, we freeze them because once they bloom, they're very papery petals. They'll last maybe 24 hours and then they'll fade. So I freeze them, and then when the fiber's here, I can pull them out of the freezer and they're just as good as new.
So smart.
Same thing with the chamomile and the cosmos.
It's interesting because I guess you want to have that fresh stage to produce the bloom or
The pigment,
the
yep.
pigment instead of dried seed heads or dried
I mean,
flower
you
heads.
can't. I have tried them before, but I just find that like I almost need double because it, you lose some to the ether.
Yeah.
And it.
Yeah.
I've just been more successful freezing them, and I got a little chest freezer off of Craigslist, and I've got it chocked full still.
Great. So smart.
Yeah.
Love it. All righty. So this is the cutting yard.
This is the cutting garden. Come on in.
Elaine, I just feel like you've done so much since I was here
We have.
before.
It's deceivingly uneven though, so do watch your step.
Okay, but like just even the fencing, and then what is this cloth on the fence for to wind?
We have
So nice.
Insane wind here.
Wow.
So this was ranunculus that's out of season now.
Okay. One of your early crops.
One of my early crops.
Tulips also, right?
I did do tulips this year, and daffodils. But we should definitely walk this way.
Yeah. Tell me about the rose program at Gholson Gardens.
Well, I don't know if I call it a program so much as just an indulgence and a slight obsession. I started following Menagerie Farm and Flower, and she has beautiful roses, and I am all about the perennials now. And so I just planted a few along here in 2019, I want to say. Kind of fell in love.
The garden roses.
Yep, garden roses. And then I did a boatload of them. This is like 23 roses here. And we're just coming out of the first flush.
Oops. Hang on. I got too close to it.
Oh, sorry about
I
that.
should know better in my own garden.
So I have hoops over them only because this January we had like 3 days in the upper 50s. And these guys broke dormancy. And then of course it went back to normal winter weather. So I did cover them for the sake of the fact that they had
And now,
come back to life.
And now, how smart you have them for future. Because
Yes, I hope I don't have to go that route again, but it's nice to know that I can cover them because just a couple days and they get full sun, which they love, but it was way too early to have green popping off on
no,
them.
not in January. No.
Yeah.
So roughly how many do you have?
I think for sure there's like 23 or 24 in here.
Okay.
And then there's just a smattering. I've lost count.
I see some in the far garden.
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
we're gonna have to get over to
Okay.
those. Those are
so
incredible.
are these mostly English garden roses?
for the most part, and floribunda.
Uh-huh.
This one is my favorite. This is just incredible. I mean, some of them have pooped out,
Sure.
but this is fun in the sun.
Oh,
It goes from
it's
that's right, Elaine. That it starts like that peachy color, and then it fades to pink. It's incrable. Like,
oh my
look
gosh,
at that.
That's stunning. And,
And
so
it
multi-petal.
smells divine.
Wow.
I
Even
was
now.
sweeping here the other day, and I was like,
This isn't where you've got a lot. You've got like 6 or 7 of them, right?
Yeah, I love these.
So is this a floribunda?
I'd have to double check.
I have to look this one up.
Weeks roses.
Oh,
There's
Weeks.
Probably
Yeah,
a floribunda.
they do great.
Truthfully, I am so new at it that like I don't know all of that quite yet.
But for someone so new, look how healthy they look. The foliage looks really healthy.
I've been dealing with spider mites a little bit.
Mhm.
This guy looks really good too.
So Elaine, what's the program? What's the plan? Are you selling these to florists? Are you afraid you don't want to sell them at all?
I'm not sure. Like, I'm still, they're still young, so like to get the full length. Well, I have cut some full, like, cutting size, like 18 inchers.
Sure.
I don't know, like, I don't know, because like there's so many things that I'm learning about, like different pests, different stage of harvest that I'm used to. You cut them really tight. I've been doing a lot of trials. The bouquets that I have in the house that I'd love for you to see, I'm just going, okay, I cut these. They were really tight. They've been in the cooler for 2 weeks, and now they're open and beautiful. So like, just
sure.
Yeah, and then when you take the thorns off of them, not only is that extra labor, but that's like a wound on the flower. So then it's like, okay, well, you're not going to want to put that, like, how do you, I did those in my subscriptions because I talked to those people and I said, okay, I put a couple garden roses in there. They still have the thorns on them.
But be careful.
Be very careful. But yeah, so I don't really know. Right now, it's kind of just for me as I learn, but I did sell some, like a dozen to a florist.
Once the word gets out.
Yes, like Anne, she knows.
Is this
hot cocoa?
Hot cocoa. This is my husband's favorite rose. We have one in our garden.
It's almost translucent.
He likes the dark.
Yeah, like
the darkness to it.
Like it just fades. But this one over here is my ultimate favorite. Distant drums.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Look how antique that is.
That's so beautiful. They used to be so hard to get a hold of, and now there's more stock available.
Yes.
So you have one?
I have 3 right here.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
But see how
2 here, and I have another one over here. And this is Honey Dijon. It got mixed in. Truthfully, everybody loves this one, and it looks great in the vase. It's got that mustardy Honey Dijon color. It does no fragrance. So I don't think I can see how that would be great for like weddings and high-end floral. But for me, I'm like, I don't know if I would do that.
You want the character of the
like
the bloom petal color. We kind of ran out of battery power there, so that's the end of my tour with Elaine. I'm very excited, though, to show the last 2 of her videos, so let's get those on.
Fall descends quietly, almost without warning. The busy days fade into early sunsets. Long shadows showcase the newly grown-in fleece. The arrival of our yarn and garments from the mill is a long-awaited capstone moment. It's all been spun up and stitched. Each ounce contains every ray of sun and drop of rain. All of the warm days and snow-capped winter nights are ready for the final bit of magic. One by one into the kettle, they swirl and soak, with the dye plants grown right alongside the alpacas. All of nature's colors convene, vibrant and true. Hand sewing each label is the final task before opening the gates for our annual event, to welcome the community to share in our harvest bounty. Fall is a season of fulfillment and a visual confirmation that this is the best work of my life.
Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. Elaine, thanks so much for sharing with us. And I have a text from Elaine this morning. I asked her about the babies that were born after I was there. So you met Dixie. The day after I left, Roxy came. And then within a week, Winnie was born. And Elaine says, one more coming in August. So if you follow Old Homestead Alpacas on Instagram. You will get all the announcements about that. So thanks so much for joining me today. You can watch the replay video for this episode 618 in our show notes next week at slowflowerspodcast.com. You'll also find additional resources about Old Homestead Alpacas and Gholson Gardens, including upcoming events and newsletter signups. And check out the online shop. One of my favorite gifts to myself when I first visited was to purchase a lacy knit scarf of the finest alpaca yarn, hand-dyed with calendula. It's just gorgeous. So I want to take a moment to thank our supporters who bring this show to you. This show is brought to you by slowflowers.com, the free online directory to more than 850 florists, shops, and studios who design with local, seasonal, and sustainable flowers, and to the farms that grow those blooms. It's the conscious choice for buying and sending flowers. And thank you to our lead sponsor, Farm Grow Flowers. Farm Grow Flowers delivers iconic burlap wrap bouquets and lush, abundant arrangements to customers across the U.S., supporting U.S. flower farms by purchasing more than $10 million of U.S.-grown, fresh and seasonal flowers and foliage annually. Discover more at farmgrowflowers.com. And thank you to the Seattle Wholesale Growers Market, a farmer-owned cooperative committed to providing the very best the Pacific Northwest has to offer in cut flowers, foliage, and plants. The Growers Market's mission is to foster a vibrant marketplace that sustains local flower farms and provides top-quality products and services to the local floral industry. Visit them at seattlewholesalegrowersmarket.com. Thank you to Longfield Gardens, which provides home gardeners with high-quality flower bulbs and perennials. Their online store offers plants for every region and every season, from tulips and daffodils to dahlias, caladiums, and amaryllis. Check out the full catalog at longfield-gardens.com. And thank you to Rooted Farmers. Rooted Farmers works exclusively with local growers to put the highest quality specialty cut flowers in floral customers' hands. When you partner with Rooted Farmers, you are investing in your community and you can expect a commitment to excellence in return. Learn more at rootedfarmers.com. I love all this floral goodness, and I'm so happy you joined me today. The Slow Flowers Show is a member-supported endeavor, and I value our loyal members and supporters. If you're new to our weekly show or our long-running podcast, check out all of our resources at slowflowersociety.com. I'm Deborah Prinzing, host and producer of The Slow Flowers Show and The Slow Flowers Podcast. Next week, you're invited to join me in putting more slow flowers on the table, one stem, one vase at a time. The content and opinions expressed here are either mine alone or those of my guests alone, independent of any podcast sponsor or other person, company, or organization. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next week.